When we consider how small, after all, the cup of human enjoyment is, how soon overflowed with tears, how easily drained to the dregs in our quenchless thirst for infinity, we shall not blame ourselves for making so much of the teacup. The Book of Tea. Let's talk about the tea ceremony. The Japanese tea ceremony, that is. This ritual is vastly different from the English tea party. Simply put, the tea ceremony is the ritualistic making of a cup of matcha tea and ceremonially presenting it to the guest. The ritual takes place in the tea room. The tea room is a small space about 10 feet square. The entrance itself is small, about 3 feet high. This requires guests to bend as they enter, symbolizing that all people, no matter their social standing, hold the same value. Each guest removes any armor, weapons, or badges denoting rank at the door. All are equal in the tea room. Here we honor the same life that flows within all of us. We remember that we all bleed red. The Book of Tea by Okakura Kakuzo intimately describes the tea room and the ceremony this way. As the guests sit waiting, he wrote, quiet reigns, with nothing to break the silence, save the note of the boiling water in the iron kettle. The kettle sings well, for pieces of iron are so arranged in the bottom as to produce a peculiar melody in which one may hear the echoes of a cataract muffled by clouds, of a distant sea breaking among the rocks, a rainstorm sweeping through a bamboo forest, of the soughing of pines on some faraway hill. The tea room has no permanent decorations. The idea is to bring in something from nature for each occasion, something that reflects the changing seasons. A poem may hang on the wall, again, a different one for each occasion. These changing adornments honor the imperfection and impermanence of life. Imperfection and impermanence. Are there any words in the English language that unsettle us more? We like to anchor, to claim territory, to put the formal portraits on the walls. Our traditions and formalities and rules, these are our armors and protections in the changing tides of time. But here in the tea room, the systems of control that define the outside world have no place. During the ceremony, every movement of the tea master's hands, from the preparation to the serving of the tea, is guided by ancient ritual. This is done with the intention of nurturing a feeling of sanctuary from the outside world and in honor of the 4 principles that are essential to the tea ceremony: respect, harmony, tranquility, and purity. When the ceremony is over, the guests leave one by one. The outside world calls once again. Rank and privilege, armor and weapon are donned once again. The kingdom of heaven is not yet here, but for a moment we met as equals in a circle and had tea together. No doubt there are many variations of the tea ceremony. Are rank and privilege always left at the door? Probably not. We are human, after all, and don't always know how to leave our human trappings behind. But as you can see, the tea ceremony is so much more than a cup of tea. It is both art and philosophy. It is the pause in our busy life where we remember that each moment happens only once, where we honor the fact that breath is sacred even on the hardest of days. The tea ceremony restores dignity to body, mind, and soul. The tea ceremony doesn't need to happen in a dedicated tea room, though I have no doubt that adds depth to the experience. The ceremony of tea can happen at any time, and the tea room can be any kitchen on any street in any town. Tunisian poet Leila Shati wrote a poem called Tea. It's a poem that she wrote in a period of depression and aloneness, when language could not touch her shadows and the everyday tasks of living felt impossibly difficult. She writes, "There was one act of self-care, however, that I could bring myself to do with regularity: make tea." She called this daily ritual a gesture of devotion towards what is not always beloved or believed. Our bodies and our stories, they are not always beloved or believed, but in the daily ritual of a cup of tea, she found a connection with her body and her story. She writes, "I come from a people who pray 5 times a day and make tea. I admire the way they do both, how they drop to the ground wherever they are, drop pine nuts and mint sprigs in a glass. I think to care for the self is a kind of prayer. It is a gesture of devotion toward what is not always beloved or believed." I'll link the full poem in the description box. But if you've ever walked through a season of survival and shadow and silence, you'll resonate with the image she paints. No one cup of tea, no one tea ritual, no ideal tea room will fix us. But sometimes that one small ritual of nourishment, whatever it is a prayer you can't put into words, a gesture of devotion towards what is not always beloved or believed. In a cup of tea, you're holding and breathing the gardens and mountains that the tea and the flowers have come from. One cup of tea reminds us of the cycle of seed and dirt and sun and rain that is so much bigger than this pain and this moment. And as all things return to the earth, so too shall this moment, this pain, pass. This is the healing of a cup of tea, and this is the spirit of the tea room. Perhaps the tea room could be seen as a mirror of the inner room of the soul, the place where the outside world has no place and outside voices cannot intrude. It's what Khalil Gibran calls the house of the soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. He wrote, "The freest song comes not through bars and wires, and he to whom worshipping is a window, to open but also to shut, has not yet visited the house of his soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn." The tea room, to me, is a mirror of this house of the soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn, and whose principles are respect, harmony, tranquility, and purity. To move through the world with a tea room in the soul is a beautiful thing. It is a small space with a low door where all are equal, and no work greater than another when judged in the scales of love. Yes, the world asks much of us. We draw lines, we protect ourselves, we move and live within the societies into which we have been born. But the tea room is always there, the sacred inner space where armor and weapon, rank and formality, all these instruments of human progress and protection and order, are left outside. In this space is silence and breath, your breath and the breath of God, your breath and the song of rain falling among the pines. This is the tea room of the soul, the place where the Spirit of God communes with the spirits of men and women in the cool of the day. So breathe, embrace this moment. You are infinitely loved and intimately guided. You are not alone. I am here now, not there or then, not if or when. Wherever it has taken me, wherever it will take me, my life has always been and will always be lived in the footlights of here. In the comedy of the catbird, taunting the crouching tabby with its song. In the ennui of the oak leaf, one among millions waiting for autumn. In the apostasy of April, kissing the rosebud alive to wholeness. in the low hunger of the heron that can only be appeased by waiting, in the ache of lightning for touch of land that comes only by storm, in the surrender of the tea leaf to the knife, yielding to fire and water. I am here now. The only constant in this endless choreography is now, and so it is here that I will dance. For if I cannot dance now, I will not dance then. Nourish your today, heal your yesterday. Tomorrow needs you. Until next time, this is Threads and Tea.